So much of my call story can relate back to my early childhood and upbringing. I'm originally from Ridgecrest, California, a small desert community located over by the Mojave Desert. Grew up in a family of 7, so there's my mom and dad and 5 siblings, and it was a pretty dysfunctional home. Had a father who was super controlling, abusive, things like that. And so during those early years, I struggled to know my own self-worth. But luckily, God provided a mentor in my life who was also my grandfather. He was a pastor, and he instilled in me a desire to know God, a desire to pray and seek Him. He gave me my first Bible, and probably from the age of 7 to 14, I spent so many years reading and studying that Bible. When I hit 11 years old, my father died of congestive heart failure, and that spun our family into a bit of chaos. We spent a year and a half in foster care. My mom was no longer able to take care of us. And so during that time, I spent so much time praying and seeking the Lord and not feeling that I was connecting with Him as much as I wanted to. Throughout junior high, I was bullied quite a bit. Being a short, fat, sensitive kid, basically could walk around with a target on my chest waiting to be bullied. And so by the time I got to high school, I was mad at God, mad at the life I was given, wondered why I was even here, wondered why my dad died, and I did what I wanted to do those years. I partied, I lived a lifestyle that's completely opposite of what I live now, and I didn't care at those moments. Again, I was mad at God. But my senior year, I got a scholarship to come to Tabor College to play football, and I was sold that I wasn't going to come here because it was in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, but I had a math teacher who my last 2 years really mentored me, took me under her wing, and told me of the potential I had in my life. And she basically threatened me if I didn't get on that plane, she was going to push me there anyways. And so I came to Tabor, and it was my first year here that I realized that God was tugging on my heart. I needed to live for Him, and through friends here and a resident assistant who took time to pour into me, to listen to me, I gave my life over to God that first year and spent my last 3 years at Tabor just ministering to other men on campus, guys who were in similar situations as a resident assistant and as well as a captain of the football team. And then my senior year, God did something amazing as well. I was planning on graduating here and going off to graduate school to get a degree in sports broadcasting and journalism. And a pastor who I knew very, very little came up to me and said, "Hey, I think you need to consider youth ministry." And I totally did not want to listen to that. But through wrestling with that and listening to some other mentors in my life, I realized that that was what God has called me to. So over the last 6 years, I've spent working as a youth pastor and working as a resident director at Tabor College, pouring into the lives of young men and young women. And that's been a passion of mine, is discipling people no matter what area and background they're from, and seeing them have a relationship with the Lord. And if there's some passages that I have that I would like to share with you, they're 2 very common passages, but they've always been relevant to me in my life and in my own walk. Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll direct your paths." And then also Jeremiah 29:11-13, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. Then you will call on me and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." Thanks for listening.